Having coached football for a number of years, one of the things that I've always told my players is that the process matters. Coach, why do we have to do all of these drills every single day? Why do we have to show up every single day of the week and do these things? Because the process is what produces winning. Without the process, we lose sight of what we are aiming for, and that is the victory. Well, friends, as you extend that into your Christian life, what is the process that God is wanting to use in your life? And more importantly, what do you consider winning? Is winning the Christian life having your best life here on earth, or is it something more? Is it something greater? You see, for the first century Christians, they had something greater in mind. As a matter of fact, James, the brother of Jesus, helps to inform the idea of what our aiming point should be in our Christian life. And also, he informs us about the process. In James chapter 5, starting at verse 7, we read this. Therefore, brothers and sisters, be patient until the Lord's coming. See how the farmer waits for the precious fruit of the earth and is patient with it until it receives the early and the late rains. You also must be patient. Strengthen your hearts because the Lord's coming is near. You see, when he's talking about the process, when he uses this example of farmers, he says that the farmer waits for the early and the late rain, and those are necessary in order to produce the crop that the farmer wants to see produced. We see in Palestinian agriculture, there were 3 seasons of rain. There was the early rain in the fall, there was the middle rain in the spring, in the winter, and then the late rain in the spring. And without any of those seasons, because there was going to be periods of dryness in between, without any of those periods of rain, it would not produce the crop that the farmer wanted. Well, extend that into our Christian life. Friends, we have seasons of rain and we have seasons of drought. There's going to be times where we need the early rain, and then there's going to be times where it's going to be dry. We have times where there's going to be the middle rain, and then it's going to be dry. And then we receive the late rain, and then the harvest comes. Well, friends, that's our life in a nutshell. There's going to be times where we are flooded with blessing at what we perceive as blessing from the Lord, and there's going to be times when it's going to be dry. Right now, as a world, we're in a season where it feels dry. And we're examining what it looks like to pursue God and to seek after God. And in this time, people are longing for the coming of the Lord because it's hard, because life is difficult. Well, friends, when life is good, do we have that same value? Are we longing for the coming of the Lord right before our wedding day, or right before the birth of our child, or when our business is very successful? Are we longing for the coming of the Lord, or is it only when things are negative? Could I commend to you that we may be looking at winning through the wrong lens? You see, friends, our eye should always be toward eternity. That's what these first century Christians, what their eye was toward eternity. That was the prize. They weren't looking for their best life here on earth. They were looking toward heaven and being restored with Jesus eternally. And because of that, eternity informed their current reality. They didn't have their current reality informing their eternity. Because, friends, if my current reality is even a glimpse of what heaven is going to be like, you can have it. I don't want it, and neither should you. We should want a glimpse of eternity and an eye toward eternity here on earth. I believe it's why Jesus gives us in his prayer, thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven, that we can experience a glimpse of eternity as we have an eye toward it in pursuing Jesus. And in that, it will shift what we see as valuable here on earth. And as such, the process starts to look very different. We start to see our circumstances very differently because we have an eye toward eternity. So my desire for you today is that you would have an eye toward eternity, that you would look at the process and where God has you in the process today and to say, where am I seeing eternity in this as we treasure Christ together?